This is the Pixel 7a, Google's latest mid-range phone that was announced earlier this month, and man, it's an interesting one to say the least. And I put it that way because there are definitely components about this phone that makes it really appealing and almost a no-brainer recommendation for a lot of people. It brings with it a slew of firsts for the device and is probably the most refined Pixel 8 device made to date. But at the same time, given where this phone sits in the now rather option-heavy Pixel market, it may not make the most sense. Well, in order to really get a better understanding of what the Pixel 7a brings to the table, I picked one up and have been using it for about a week now, so I thought I'd put this review together to help you get a better sense of whether or not this phone is right for you. And let's jump right into this review and talk about the design of the Pixel 7a, something I feel Google did really well. Gone are the days where the Pixel 8 variants would be clear downgrades from their flagship brothers, and I think the Pixel 7a really embodies this important change. From a distance, you'd be hard-pressed to tell the difference between this and the more premium Pixel 7, as it shares a very similar design blueprint. You get a completely flat display on the front that is basically all screen, as well as a similarly designed rear of the phone that sports the now signature Pixel camera bar with even the latest pill-shaped cutout for the cameras themselves. The Pixel 7a offers multiple colorways. I went with the classic charcoal, which could be basic, but I personally think looks the best the longest, and you can see when compared to my charcoal Pixel 7 Pro, even though it is slightly lighter in color, the quality is a pretty close match. Now yes, the back panel on the Pixel 7a is made out of plastic. It's probably the most obvious cost-saving measure Google implemented on this device, but to be completely honest, it really doesn't bother me too much at all because it doesn't feel plasticky. It has a very similar finish to the glass back on both the Pixel 7 and 7 Pro, and I think the thing that really makes the cheap build material a non-issue is the fact that the 7a still uses a nice metal frame to connect the front and back together. It's definitely the component around the build that makes this phone a lot more substantial than what it is, and 1 week later, I've had no complaints with how this phone looks or feels in the hand. Now from a dimension standpoint, it is the smallest Pixel 7 variant out of the three. The display clocks in at 6.1 inches, which I feel as though is totally fine for viewing enjoyment, and it comes with the added bonus of being easier to hold and operate with one hand. Now my one nitpick with the Pixel 7a is that it has a slightly larger bezel that you're likely only going to notice if you've been using the regular Pixel 7 or 7 Pro. It's not the worst thing in the world as the display is still pretty immersive, but for some reason it's been something I noticed more than I thought I would. The glass is also only Gorilla Glass 3, but it is scratch resistant and it comes in at a slightly lower IP67 dust and water resistance rating. But aside from that, I think the design and build of the Pixel 7a is pretty fantastic. Google did a good job applying the design elements that has made this look and feel so popular, which really helps consumers not feel as though they're missing out on much by going with the cheaper variant. But let's talk about how the Pixel 7a has been 1 week later when talking about performance and features, and spoiler alert, it's been pretty great. And to kick things off, let's circle back to the display that's on this phone. It's a full HD plus OLED panel that comes in at a solid 2400 by 1080p resolution, and it performs really well. Content comes off sharp and with good colors, really strong contrast with those true blacks, and the Pixel 7a can get decently bright even when in direct sunlight. So watching videos and playing games is quite enjoyable, as well as more common activities like scrolling through social media or reading the news. And that enjoyment has been enhanced considerably due to the fact that the Pixel 7a has a 90Hz refresh rate. It's the first high refresh rate to make it to a Pixel 8 device, and it's extremely welcomed. Now it is turned off by default and you have to go into your settings to toggle it on, but once you do, it makes for a noticeable and instant difference. Navigating around your phone is significantly smoother and more engaging to do, and I'm happy to say so far the high refresh rate has been performing really well. I haven't seen much throttling or jitters even when pushing the phone pretty hard, and again really elevates the experience with the Pixel 7a to where it feels virtually the same as using my more expensive Pixel 7. This to me is the biggest differentiator between this and last year's Pixel 6a. It's something that you're going to notice right away and will have trouble going back to once you've experienced it. Now when it comes to biometric security, you do have a decent in-display fingerprint reader that's just okay. It's not at the level of the ultrasonic sensors that Samsung uses on their phones, but it's still a usable and relatively reliable way to safely unlock your phone. But Google introduced another great feature for the first time on the Pixel 8 through this phone, and that's their Face Unlock system. It may not be as secure as the fingerprint sensor, but I much prefer this biometric security system because it's super easy to set up and use. Now it could be because I'm so used to Apple's Face ID, I've come to a place in life where I want my security on my phone to be as least intrusive as possible, and Face Unlock does a pretty good job of that. Now all of this is powered by the Tensor G2 chip, Google's latest in-house processor that is also powering its flagship devices. The Pixel 7a also has the Titan M2 security H230 chip and access to Google's VPN service, so you get all the premium bells and whistles on this mid-range device as well. So you can take advantage of all of the latest Pixel features like their class-leading voice notes app or translate features, as well as camera features like photo unblur and magic eraser. It also got a spec bump up to 8GB of RAM, again same as the Pixel 7, and it's paired with a solid 128GB of internal storage. And overall, the 7a performs great. I don't see any noticeable differences between this and my Pixel 7 Pro. Navigating around apps is fast and smooth, and even playing some spec-heavy games is no problem. So even more than the physical design, the internals of the Pixel 7a are strikingly similar to its more flagship brothers, and it's great that Google really didn't make a lot of concessions here. This allows folks to enjoy a full-on Pixel experience at a lower cost, which is always great to see. But there is one area of performance that I'm a little leery of 1 week later, and that's the Pixel 7a's battery life. It's equipped with a moderately sized 4385 mAh battery, and it's a bit early to make any decisive determinations about battery performance, but 1 week later I'll just say that it's okay. On a full charge, I can get through a full day of moderate use, but it starts to get pretty sporty if I'm watching a lot of videos or using something like Google Maps multiple times a day. I think this is likely the reason why Google turned off the 90Hz refresh rate by default. I've been using the phone all week with it turned on again without any major concerns around battery life yet, but it's probably not one of the Pixel 7a's strong suits. But what is really nice to have on this phone is the ability to wireless charge, another first for the Pixel Lane lineup. Now it is super slow wireless charging, which is kind of a bummer, but it's great to have if you do have a ton of wireless chargers hanging around, and is a welcomed addition to the more budget Pixel variant. But let's get into the most important area of performance on this phone, as it bears the Pixel name, and that of course is camera quality. The 7a is equipped with 3 cameras total. You have 2 rear-facing cameras and 1 selfie camera, and Google went an interesting direction this year. Rather than using the tried and true workhorse Sony sensor that the Pixel has used for years, or using the relatively new cameras that are in the Pixel 7 and 7 Pro, the Pixel 7a has a new 64 megapixel main sensor and a 13 megapixel ultra-wide. It also has an updated 13 megapixel front-facing selfie camera, so all the cameras on this more budget-friendly device are again first for the Pixel. Now I do appreciate having a larger main sensor. This should in theory give the Pixel 7a better performance in low light and give it better natural depth of field. And 1 week later, I'm happy to say that the cameras perform well enough to live up to the Pixel name. Now, I will say you're going to want to temper expectations around having new cameras on this phone, as you're not going to see a major difference between what's coming out of the Pixel 7a and the other Pixels. You still get sharp and well-saturated images that have Google's distinct picture profile that includes a good amount of contrast and dynamic range, all while not making the photos come off too artificial. The selfies come out flattering without looking too face-tuned or fake, and the portrait mode shots look pretty solid as well. So even though it is updated hardware, 1 week later, the thing I've taken away is that Google was able to successfully apply its computational photography magic to the new cameras, which really is great because the Pixel's image processing is one of the company's greatest strengths. But if you have a relatively new Pixel already, don't expect any major changes when it comes to quality. And the same could be said about the Pixel 7a's video quality. It's pretty much the same as what we've already seen. It could shoot 4K video at either 30 or 60 frames per second on both the front and back. And look, the video quality the Pixel could produce isn't on the same level as its still image quality, which always makes the comparison between the two a bit more jarring. The video comes out relatively sharp, but the colors aren't the best, and the quality starts to dip the more you get into the frame. It's not something I'd consider bad, but it's not at the same level as what Samsung was able to put out on its newest Galaxy lineup, and miles behind what the iPhone can do in this arena. But we have to remember, this is a mid-tier device that has a way more welcoming starting price tag. The Pixel 7a costs $499 US, which is $50 more expensive than what the Pixel 6a started out as, but it's still a pretty fair price all things considered. Again, you're not conceding much at all, as the 7a is loaded with top-end features and performance capability that rivals more expensive options, and what's important is that it looks the part as well. But remember I said at the beginning of the video that it's kind of in a weird place within its own Pixel landscape? The reason I said that is this. As of filming this video, you could buy a new Pixel 7 for, you guessed it, $499. So for the exact same price, you can get the better version of this phone that has a more premium build, better battery life, and more, which makes the positioning of the 7a kind of awkward. Now yes, this is a sale price for the Pixel 7 as it normally retails for $599, so it's not always going to be available at that reduced price, but I don't think it's going to be too hard to find either. Plus, Google reduced the price of the Pixel 6a to $349, and you can get one on sale for $299, which is a pretty solid deal considering how capable that phone is. Which again puts the 7a in a weird spot of potentially not being the best value option despite all it has to offer. At the end of the day, the Pixel 7a 1 week later to me is a solid device that provides a lot to Pixel fans. And even though I do think that the price is fair, it's unfortunately in a weird space right now where it's not really the best option to go with. But hey, that's just me, and I want to know what you guys think. What do you guys think about the Pixel 7a? Is it a win for Google, or did they drop the ball with the pricing? curious to get your thoughts. Let me know what you guys are thinking in the comments down below. And if you guys are interested in checking out what Samsung has brought to the table this year for comparison, check out these videos here. They're gonna help you be as informed as possible.